see a line like this, guys, if you look on the questions, they have the questions on the next page, I believe. You see those lines on question 9. You have to know those things. So right there it says, which of the lines show an inverse relationship? Okay. But I'm going to ask you guys, which one do you show the direct relationship? The one like I'm showing you right here. Give me the colors of those lines, guys.
Green, blue, and purple.
Green, blue, and purple. Exactly. They're showing a direct relationship. As one increases, the other one increases. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the more skill I practice, the more skill I'm going to acquire. Okay. That's a brand new book, and you gotta work it in. You see how mine just lay out there? It's been used. It's been used. Okay. So those are direct relationships are directly proportional. If I show you that on the graph and I say, what kind of relationship was that? You're going to say directly proportional or directly related. Okay? So let's talk about things that are inversely related or inversely proportional. These are two items associated with one increases and the other one decreases, guys. Such as, I use the example of grades and party. You know, the more you party and the less you study, your grades are probably going to be lower unless you're just like Mike on Suits and you can just read something one time and you retain it forever. But typically for us normal folks, you know, our grades are affected by how much we or I would say lack of studying, which I'm just saying partying for that example. So more partying, you know, our grades are probably going to be reduced. I really don't like that one, honestly. But I like a car's gas mileage to its engine size. Okay, the bigger the engine size, the less mileage I'm going to be able to acquire or be able to use with that in that vehicle. Okay, so those things are inversely related or inversely proportional. Okay, and you see how that graph is lined up right there on figure 1.3. So you look on our review questions on page 4. Our question 9, which of the lines in this graph below represent an inverse relationship?
Red, orange, and
red, orange, and black lines. Those are showing an inverse relationship because as one increases, the other one decreases. Okay. Okay. And last but not least, as far as relationships go, a reciprocal relationship. But in this class, you're always going to be asked about reciprocals because even though this class don't have a lot of math, I really don't get into math unless it's necessary. Sometimes, like to explain a concept or to explain a formula, I may have us do some math problems. It may not be math on the actual SPI, but just to help us get a better grasp of how the formula works, how one thing affects something else. Because when I tell you guys, relationships are so important in ultrasound. They're so important in ultrasound, knowing how one thing affects another. So the reciprocal relationship is when two numbers are multiplied and the result is 1. Okay, reciprocals are typically pretty easy to get unless I'm asking you in decimal form. So whenever you, like say for instance, if one of my numbers, what is the reciprocal of 8? Normally, if it's a solid number, you can just throw, make it a fraction and just throw a 1 on top of it. So 1/8 would be the reciprocal of 8, right? So what's the reciprocal of 100? 100. But then how would I write that in the graph? In the 0.01. 0.01 is how I would write 1/100 as in decimal formation. Formation. Okay. So know your reciprocals and how to acquire those. Reciprocal numbers are inverse because when one increases, the other one decreases. Okay. So that reciprocal discussion relationship is also an inverse relationship. All right. So again, guys, don't forget to check out your questions in the middle of the chapter. I sent you guys homework. Again, I don't care if you use examples within the chapter. I really would be nice if you use your own example though. Okay. So next thing we're gonna talk about units, guys. All numbers have this. Remember, I was a real stickler for my units, right? You already know this. I want to see units all after my numbers. So all numbers must have corresponding units, and the number alone creates uncertainty or ambiguity. Okay. Basically, for a numerical answer, answer to question to be comprehensive, it requires a unit. Okay. So basically, that's one thing about America. America in this established independence, you know, they wanted to be so different than what England was. That America is probably the only place that doesn't really use the metric system, right? Mm-hmm. We use miles and inches and, you know, and gallons, you know, that we don't really use the metric system like other nations really use, like, you know, but when it comes to ultrasound, you know that we use the metric system. When we're measuring length, we use it in centimeters, right? Mm-hmm. We use it in centimeters. So you guys have to know how to convert, you know, make different conversions from centimeters to meters, you know, from, you know, kilograms to grams, and back and forth. You guys, I talked to the seniors, they said that is on the, that's on the SPI as far as knowing how to convert numbers from one unit to the next, okay? So let's talk about some different units. So some different units of length. This is very important when it comes to ultrasound and our typical values. Starting in chapter 3, our units of length would be distance or circumference. Okay, some units of length would be centimeters and feet. What's some other units of length, guys? Inches, yards, meters, you know, millimeters. All those are units. All of those are different units of length right there. Okay, so our units of area would be something that's squared, centimeters squared, feet squared, you know, square inches, you know, those would be units of area, okay? And our units of volume, such as fluid or how much space something contains, would be cube, okay? So centimeters cube, feet cube, those are our different units, guys. Highlight those units in the book if you don't have them, because I may ask you, as your homework said. You know, you gotta know,